One of the questions we receive at our office is, how do I put in food plots? How do I get started? Where do I plant them? Just what do I do? This field is a good example of a starter food plot. It was a fallow field. This has not been planted for years. And the very first step that I'm going to do is to take a soil sample. So follow along, and what I'm going to do is basically I've got this garden trowel and a cup, and I'm going to stop and take about a half a dozen different soil cores or soil samples throughout this field. And what I'm trying to do is to try to figure out what is the average soil composition in this field. So I'm going to stop and take about probably 4 to 6 different areas within this field, and then I'm going to commingle them. Now, I've got my soil test in the cup. I took about 4 to 6 different representative samples throughout this field, and now I'm going to use one of our instant pH test kits in order to test the pH level of this soil. It's instant in that all I need to do is to add distilled water. It's important to use distilled water because distilled water has a neutral pH, basically a pH of a 7.0. Added an equal amount of distilled water, and then all I'm going to do is take a pencil, stir this, and then I'm going to let it set for about 15 minutes. We've waited approximately 15 minutes, and now what I'm going to do is take one of the soil litmus strips, one of the 4 that is included within the soil test kit, dip it in the slurry, shake it off, and then within the kit is a whole wealth of information, from the standard pH level that we suggest for our plots, along with charts that will tell you how much lime you need to add. But the very first thing we're going to do now is wipe off a little bit of the mud, and now we're going to compare where we're at. Whether we're at a pH of a 5.0 or a 5.5, certainly not that high up in the 6 range. Really pretty close to that 5.0, 5.5, probably about a 5.2. The next step is what we're going to do is we're going to come up here in brown or clay or black soil, and that's really what we're dealing with here. Is our current pH is about a 5.5. We want to bring this up in that 6.5 to 7 range, and this will tell us how many pounds or tons of lime we need to add in order to bring it up into that range. So we know our pH, we know what we have to do. Now we're going to get to work, put some lime down, till this up, and get to planting.